this episode of Steelbook Hunting in CEX, we are going back to where it all began in my local CEX store here in the fine city of Norwich. But that's not all. For the first time ever in this series, we have a CEX Roulette. Hello again folks, and welcome to Steelbook Hunting in CEX, the series in which usually we hit up two brand new CEX stores on the hunt for bargain steelbooks for the collection. But this time is slightly different. That's because recently, honestly, I've had no luck steelbook hunting in CEX. I have visited multiple stores and had no luck finding any steelbooks. That is until recently when I hit up my local CEX store here in Norwich and I came across a veritable steel mine of steelbooks. And this time we are revisiting my local CEX store on the hunt for steelbooks. But that's not all. For the first time ever in this series, we are going to be playing the CEX Roulette. If you enjoyed this episode, please hit that like button and please subscribe, as I put new videos out every Saturday live at 5, as well as bonus content throughout the week, and I really want you folks along for the ride. If you want to join me playing even more games, head over to Twitch and give me a follow. Twitch.tv/DanTheGamesMan, Twitch. Here we go then at my local CEX store, and full disclosure, this was a totally unscheduled trip. I was taking my wife to afternoon tea, we had a few moments to kill, so we headed into CEX, and boy am I glad we headed in, as it didn't take us long to find the first of many steelbooks this time, and one of the cheapest steelbooks I've ever found in CEX here in the PlayStation 4 section. And I guess today was just meant to be, because I didn't know, but this was going to be one of the best steelbook hunts I have ever had. I couldn't believe it was going to be here in my local CEX store. So once again, it didn't take us long till we found our second steelbook of the day, but this one is one which I've passed on many times, Ghost of Tsushima, simply because I have the PlayStation 5 version of this game, and honestly, for £25 I do keep passing on a steelbook, because remember, when we're steelbook hunting in CEX, most of the time I'm looking for the bargains, such as your Hitman. So like any steelbook under £10, yes, I'm going to pick up, because remember, more often than not, when you're steelbook hunting in CEX, you can get the steelbook for the same price as the standard version of the game. This is what I love about steelbook hunting in CEX, finding steelbooks which I never knew existed, such as this one right here, Far Cry Primal. Quite possibly my least favourite game in this franchise, but for £5 for a steelbook I've never seen before, gonna grab it. No idea why, but my local CEX store had 3 copies of Tales of Symphonia, the steelbook version of this game. Again, I have no idea why, but I did decide to pass this time. But this is something I'm always on the lookout for when I'm hunting for steelbooks in CEX, games in slipcases. Those cool little cardboard extras I just love having in the collection, because it just makes that cool little rarity that you don't see all the time. And this Watch Dogs 2 one was super cool. I always keep an eye out for these slipcases, and this is one I've wanted for a very long while, Sonic Mania. Now the video doesn't really do it justice, this one was a little bit rough, so I did decide to pass. But we are still on the hunt for steelbooks. It doesn't take us long to find yet another steelbook here in the PlayStation 4 section. I'm just thinking someone very recently traded in their entire steelbook PlayStation 4 collection here to my local CEX. But we ain't done yet, folks. There was one more steelbook hiding here in the PlayStation 4 section, and again a steelbook which I've never seen before, Thief. And for £4 for the PlayStation 4 steelbook, yes, I'm going to grab this one. Next up, we're heading to the Xbox Series X section. And again, it doesn't take us long to strike steel here with the Halo Infinite steelbook, one which I am waiting to price drop, because here's the thing: when I'm steelbook hunting in CEX, I'm a patient man. With some of these slightly more expensive steelbooks, I will wait for them to drop in price. Hopefully they do, but that's the gamble. You never know if the games are going to drop in value or go back up in value. But that is the entire roulette and the stock market effect of hunting in CEX. You just have to hope your patience pays off. And my patience has paid off with this steelbook right here, Red Dead Redemption 2. But unfortunately, when I took it up to the counter, they couldn't find the steelbook, which was absolutely gutting, as I've been looking for the Red Dead Redemption 2 steelbook for so long. But I guess today wasn't my day. But regardless, we had found so many steelbooks on this unplanned trip to CEX. Now, normally I wouldn't double dip and come back to a CEX store, which I've been to before, for a full Steelbook hunting episode, but this time, because of the number of Steelbooks, I just couldn't resist. Our final stop here in Norwich CEX was the Xbox 360 section. I'm very lucky to have a local CEX store which has a massive Xbox 360 section still, but the prices of a lot of these Xbox 360 Steelbooks are slowly creeping up, and more of these Xbox 360 Steelbooks are being listed as the Steelbook version. Now, thankfully, I'd picked up a lot of these in the past, but there is a lot of these Steelbooks on the CEX app which you can order online, and that's exactly what we're going to be doing later in this episode. Let's take it back to the games room for the pickups. Here we are then, back in the games room for my local CEX store, and while I do find Steelbooks there all the time, it's never normally in numbers such as today. So first off, it didn't take us long to find our first Steelbook, and for just £1 we found this Anthem Steelbook. Maybe not the greatest game of all time, but for £1 this is a really nice Steelbook, and is nearly the cheapest Steelbook that CEX sell. Next up, we have a game which is quite possibly my least favourite game from this franchise, and that is Far Cry Primal. Now, this Steelbook was £5, but this is one I have never ever seen before, and as well as this awesome Steelbook, it also comes with a bonus DVD, and it's Steelbooks like this I'm always on the lookout for, just the ones I never ever seem to see. Speaking of Steelbooks I've never seen before, next up we have the Steelbook for Thief, once again for the PlayStation 4. This one was just £4, and again, like I said, this is a Steelbook I've never seen before, and for £4, very happy to add it to my collection. Unlike a lot of other CEX stores, my local CEX store does not put Steelbooks out on the shelf. In lieu of Steelbooks, they put out replacement cases. So when I saw a replacement case for this game right here, 2 Point Campus, I was confused because, to the best of my knowledge, there was not a Steelbook release of this game. This is in fact the enrollment edition of 2 Point Campus. Now, this is a special edition, so I did pick it up for just £6. So it does come with a copy of the game, always a bonus. It also comes with a 2 Point Campus map, so you don't get lost while playing the game, and it also comes with the prospectus. It wasn't a Steelbook, sadly, but for £6 I thought it was a very cool special edition. It was worth picking up for the collection. When it comes to Steelbook collecting, video game collecting, or indeed collecting of any kind, one of the best pieces of advice I've ever heard was tell everyone you collect. You'll be amazed how many people will reach out either to sell or donate items for your collection, which leads us on to our next Steelbook pickups. If you've been following me over on Twitch, you will know that recently I've been playing through Space Marine 2 with my good friend Dan. We've been having a blast, and honestly, if you love gaming, come and give me a follow over on Twitch and join the party. And he has donated 3 Steelbooks for my collection. I'm very grateful for these. The first one is an absolute beauty. Batman Arkham Origins, and just look at this one. I love the fact it kind of has a high relief of Batman. These are empty, but this is such an incredibly beautiful Steelbook, and one you honestly do not see very often. When it comes to Steelbook collecting, there are some Steelbooks you see all the time. You have Bioshock and Perfect Dark for the Xbox 360, and one of the most common Steelbooks of all time is Hitman for the PlayStation 4. But here is one you do not see very often, Hitman 2, and this is complete with the slipcase. I don't know what it is about Hitman. I see that one all the time, but I've never come across the Steelbook for Hitman 2, which is a real shame, as once again, this is a real beauty, an absolutely fantastic game. And once again, massive shout out to Dan for this one. But I have saved the best Steelbook till last. This one does not come without the game, but thank you, Dan, for this one. This is an absolute beauty. The Steelbook for Sekiro, Shadows Die Twice. A game I've not played because, honestly, Souls games terrify me, but this is an absolutely beautiful Steelbook, whether on the outside or the inside, and very thankful to Dan for this one for my collection. Which brings us on to the CEX Roulette portion of this video. Now, there's not a large number of steelbooks for sale on the CEX website. That's because, more often than not, like we've learned throughout this series, CEX charge the same price for the steelbook version of a game that they do the standard version. So there's only a very finite number of steelbooks which you can order off CEX and do a CEX Roulette for. And this is our first ever CEX Roulette here on Steelbook Hunting in CEX. And let's get straight into this one. I have no idea what to expect with this one. It could be fantastic, it could be absolutely terrible. I guess time will tell. So we have 3 steelbooks to go through this time, and this first one costs just £5, and this is a steelbook for the PlayStation 3, and this steelbook is Rainbow Six Vegas 2, and this could be a win right here. I'm not sure if this one is supposed to come with a slipcase, but this steelbook looks to be in really good condition. You can hear I am laughing with relief as I had no idea what to expect with this first ever roulette of a steelbook from CEX. But honestly, manual all looks good, steelbook looks good, disc has a fingerprint but looks good. So our first of 3 CEX roulettes this time, this first one is a win. Let's get into our second package of steelbooks here, and this one has 2 steelbooks inside, and these are the 2 more expensive steelbooks, and I'm guessing both of these came from the same CEX store. So once again, we're going to check the invoice first. We have 2 steelbooks in here. One was £15 and one was £12, and these are both for the Xbox 360, and it looks like they have been packaged very nicely together. So let's see which steelbook comes out first. So first of all, we have the most expensive steelbook at £15. Now, you might not be able to tell, but this is the steelbook for Iron Man, and yeah, this one has a pretty large amount of rust on there. It does come with the manual and the disc, but I think this one should definitely have a slipcase, and honestly, that is a fair amount of rust. So sadly, this one probably is a rusty bust, which is a real shame, because for £15, I'd want this to firstly have the slipcase, and secondly, of course, not be rusty. But all is not lost. We have our third and final steelbook in here, and this looks a lot better. This is Clive Barker's Jericho once again for the Xbox 360, and the steelbook looks to be in fairly decent condition. I think a lot of the splatter effect on this one is an effect. A little bit of damage across the top there, and yep, complete with the manual. And it does say on the front contains Image Vault art book. So, just as you can see there, yeah, it does have the art book inside. So for our first CEX roulette, 2 out of 3, I guess, as they say, ain't bad. There we have it then, folks. That was another episode of Steelbook Hunting in CEX. And even though I've had very bad luck recently hunting for steelbooks, I'm hoping my luck is about to change. We have a veritable stack of steel here, both from my local CEX store and also from my good friend and brother-in-arms, Dan. And then we had a mixed bag of CEX roulette. We had 2 wins and, sadly, 1 fail. But overall, it's been an absolutely fantastic episode of Steelbook Hunting. I hope you've enjoyed this episode. If you did, hit that like button, subscribe, and find out next time if we strike out or strike steel, Steelbook Hunting in CEX. See you soon!